Bill Maher says he was wrong about Trump's tariffs, why he's walking back his calls for catastrophe. We adhere to strict standards of editorial integrity to help you make decisions with confidence. Some or all links contained within this article are paid links. Love him or hate him, Bill Maher isn't shy about eating his own words. On an episode of his Club Random podcast, the comedian says he was wrong about President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. Tariffs. Now, I remember along with probably most people, were saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen, Maher said in a clip posted July 28th. The truth is, I don't know what his strategy is, but look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I've got to own it, that these tariffs were going to sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. Don't miss, thanks to Jeff Bezos, you can now become a landlord for as little as $100. And no, you don't have to deal with tenants or fix freezers. Here's how. I'm 49 years old and have nothing saved for retirement. What should I do? Don't panic. Here are 6 of the easiest ways you can catch up and fast. Robert Kiyosaki warns of a greater depression coming to the US, with millions of Americans going poor. But he says these 2 easy money assets will bring in great wealth. How to get in now. Many experts were, and several remain, critical of Trump's trade policies. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers called Trump's tariffs a self-inflicted wound on the American economy, while Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman said they create an impossible environment for business. To be sure, the uncertainty surrounding tariffs did rattle Wall Street. Trump's first 100 days were the worst start for stocks under a president since the Nixon era. But they've since bounced back, and as Maher alluded to, major indices like the S&P 500 and NASDAQ have hit new all-time highs. The blunt reality, while Trump's tariffs may have consequences, particularly on consumer prices, the U.S. economy remains a global powerhouse. That enduring strength is why investing legend Warren Buffett has long urged investors to stay optimistic about America's future. As Buffett wrote in his 2022 letter to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders, I have yet to see a time when it made sense to make a long-term bet against America, and I doubt very much that any reader of this letter will have a different experience in the future. Here's a look at 2 simple ways to bet on America. Own a slice of America the Buffett way. For Buffett, betting on the U.S. is a no-brainer, thanks to his unwavering faith in the resilience and growth of American businesses. American business, and consequently a basket of stocks, is virtually certain to be worth far more in the years ahead, Buffett wrote in his 2016 letter to shareholders. You don't need to be a stock-picking expert to follow Buffett's playbook. His advice to individual investors is as simple as it is enduring. In my view, for most people, the best thing to do is own the S&P 500 index fund, he famously stated. This straightforward approach gives investors exposure to 500 of America's largest companies across various industries, providing diversified exposure without the need for constant monitoring or active trading. The beauty of this approach is its accessibility. Anyone, regardless of wealth, can take advantage of it. Even small amounts can grow over time with tools like Acorns, a popular app that automatically invests your spare change. Signing up for Acorns takes minutes. Link your cards and Acorns will round up each purchase to the nearest dollar, investing the difference, your spare change, into a diversified portfolio. With Acorns, you can invest in an S&P 500 ETF with as little as $5. And if you sign up today, Acorns will add a $20 bonus to help you begin your investment journey. Invest in U.S. real estate. The U.S. is currently facing a significant housing shortage. A recent Zillow analysis estimated the housing shortage to be 4.7 million homes. Even Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has acknowledged the severity of the issue. The real issue with housing is that we have had and are on track to continue to have not enough housing, he stated in September 2024. For investors, the housing supply gap presents a unique opportunity to invest in America. Housing demand isn't going away. Regardless of who's in the White House, people will always need a place to live. In fact, Buffett has often pointed to U.S. real estate as a prime example of a productive, income-generating asset. In 2022, Buffett stated that if you offered him 1% of all the apartment houses in the country for $25 billion, he would write you a check. Of course, you don't need billions to benefit from real estate investing. Crowdfunding platforms like Arrived offer an easier way to get exposure to this income-generating asset class. Backed by world-class investors like Jeff Bezos, Arrived allows you to invest in shares of rental homes with as little as $100, all without the hassle of mowing lawns, fixing leaky faucets, or handling difficult tenants. The process is simple. Browse a curated selection of homes that have been vetted for their appreciation and income potential. Once you find a property you like, select the number of shares you'd like to purchase, and then sit back as you start receiving any positive rental income distributions from your investment. Another option is First National Realty Partners, which allows accredited investors to diversify their portfolio through grocery-anchored commercial properties without taking on the responsibility of being a landlord. With a minimum investment of $50,000, investors can own a share of properties leased by national brands like Whole Foods, Kroger, and Walmart, which provide essential goods to their communities. Thanks to triple net leases, accredited investors are able to invest in these properties without worrying about tenant costs cutting into their potential returns. Simply answer a few questions, including how much you would like to invest, to start browsing their full list of available properties. What to read next? Want an extra $1,300,000 when you retire? Dave Ramsey says this 7-step plan works every single time to kill debt, get rich in America, and that anyone can do it. Here are the must-have items that Americans almost always overpay for and very quickly regret. How many are hurting you? Here are 5 simple ways to grow rich with real estate if you don't want to play landlord, and you can even start with as little as $100. Protect your retirement savings with these 5 essential money moves, most of which you can complete in just minutes. Stay in the know. Join 200,000 plus readers and get the best of MoneyWise sent straight to your inbox every week for free. Subscribe now.